So a lot of the things that I go through in my family, and what I would share is this with you guys is that there's no fear of God at all. Um, I can remember a time where when you cuss, I mean they would say you need to wash your mouth out with soap. That's what we're gonna have to do. You know, it back then when you cuss, there was a fear among people. Like now, even older people, it's a shame. All they do is curse, cuss, curse, cuss, 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 cuss. And that what that does to little kids is that programs them obviously. Oh, you know what? Well, I can do whatever I want and I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know how can anyone sit and say everything's getting better. Things were better. Things were better. 20, 30. Things were a lot better, actually. Okay. 25 years ago, things were a lot better. Actually, it was. It really was. The church is more weak now than it was 25 years ago. Okay. Something I go through with my dad when he's done a lot of stuff. He's done a lot of stuff to me, verbally, physically in the past. But I would just say this: that this man is very evil. Not all the time it's a demonic spirit using him. That's speaking to him. It's most of the time it's just him being a clown, being a fool, most of the time. But what I would say is that I was laying down, right, earlier, and impersonation, a demon. It was a demon, an impersonating spirit. He came in the room, started gossiping about the family, and then I woke up. He walked out of the room. I wake up and I'm saying to myself, was that even real? See what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't real. It wasn't him. That's the kind of thing that's on him. When I say it's not, he doesn't have a demonic spirit. He does, but it's not to a point where I don't believe he needs deliverance from it. He just needs to take it to the Lord. Some things you just pray to the Lord. Some things you don't actually need to be delivered from because you're covered by grace. So I don't believe in that all the time you need deliverance. No. Like when I do certain things, I know, all right, I'm going to take it to the Lord before it gets worse. You see, I'm different than people in my family. I'm doing the best I can in my own personal life now to actually, try and better myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about being a part of this world. I'm talking about getting away from my family. Doing the best I can to be financially stable so I can do what I have to do. Because it's bad. And this is all I'm saying, It's bad. Yes, my dad has said things. He said a lot of evil things, He said a lot of things that were heart-wrenching, disgusting. It was bad. Like, used to throw stuff around in the house, smash, break stuff. And even in front of my nephew and niece, he would smash things in the house. Doing that because he probably felt like, they know who. Like the point would be not to do something like that. You know what I'm saying? The point would be don't do it at all. But throwing things around the house, smashing stuff. I mean, really, plates, glasses, throwing stuff in the house, throwing stuff around, like doing evil things like that, and slamming stuff. Like there was a point. This was 2.5 years ago, almost now, just about 2.5 years ago, right? There was a point in time where this man would. It was 2.5 years ago. This man would literally. I'm talking about. He needed deliverance at that point in time. Like he needed that spirit to literally detach from him, disconnect from him, from his mouth, from his emotions. He was emotionally stressed. He was mentally disturbed. He would literally say things about like I don't care about nothing. I don't care. And then it got so bad that he would literally he would start fights with me that he would talk about he wanted to kill me. Long story short, and all these things. he would say stuff like this, folks, you guys. He would say stuff like this. Now, I know if I told anybody, like, let's say during that period of time, because it was the most horrible time of my life. But I'll tell you right now, is that there's no one that can ever tell me. That's why I can speak. I've mentored a lot of people. I've counseled people because there's no one that can tell me. All these psychiatrists or whatever you want to call them, they don't know a thing unless they've gone through it themselves. You're not just a psychiatrist because you've been labeled, you've been titled, you have a certificate. Same thing with the church, because you have a title. And most of these pastors, they don't even know most of the time how to communicate or how to relate with anyone at that. Just like the psychiatrists in some point, they don't know how to relate to anyone. They really don't. They don't know how to relate to anyone. And it takes a person that's really been in the gutter of life, that's literally gone down and below. That's why I'm 27 years old. People over the past years now have literally said to me, like, how do you know all this stuff? How do you know all these things? Like the stuff that you're saying, like, I don't even hear this stuff in church. Like, how do you, like, I say things profoundly, extremely profound, that people, they don't understand where it's coming from. I said because that I would sit down, I would tell them, because you see, I have my own walk with God. All the years of pain and torture, many years now, 20 years already, of hell, 22 years of pain and torture. I'm 27, yeah, we're talking about since I was 3-4 years old. Literally. Most of my life. Pain and torture. And what has it done for me? It's done a lot, because I've made it, even though I don't know where those people are at now, but I made a difference in their life though. That's what it is. Over the years, you know? That's what it's done. I don't blame God for none of that. There's a judgment coming on my family and them. When you start blaming God for stuff, it's pretty childish, because it's not God, and that's the devil's biggest tool and weapon. I broke out of that, but I'm saying that's what most people need to break out of. They got to stop blaming God, because it is not God. It is not God. It's the devil. Period. But what I'm gonna say is that there's no one that can tell me anything. You don't know anything about life. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what I'm struggling with. Because I've sat with a lot of people over the years, and teenagers, kids, adults, you name it. And they open up to me. They express themselves to me. They tell me things they don't tell anyone else. No one else really. So they figure, they know no one's gonna understand them the way I understand them. You see. So it was bad. My dad would break stuff in the house. He would absolutely demonic, absolutely extremely bad. I'm talking about, I would have to leave the house. He would try to start arguments with me, because he would say things and I would tell him, listen, you know. And then we got to a point where, like, an argument would start, and then I would have to leave. I would have to leave the house, and then go for walks. And then I had a friend, you know, who I would try and call and reach. You know, this is how you know that's not a real friend. You're trying to reach out to someone. Let me just put it to you this way. I was in an emergency situation. It was an emergency situation, whereas I was going to stab my father. I was going to stab my dad. I was like losing it. I was stressed. I was emotionally, you know, I tried reaching out to my family. Nobody, literally. True. This is really like true story. Real life. That's why I am the way I am towards my family. That's why I always say, the people who are your family are actually those people who actually, guess what? They actually have gone through the same things you've gone through, and those who actually have a lot of love and carefulness and respect for you. Those are your family members. Those not your actual family. I remember I used to work with a person on my job. He told me the same thing many years ago. He told me, you know, your family, they're not actually your family, bro. You know that, right? Family's not really your family, man. And I agree with him. He probably expected me not to agree with him, like not to understand what he was saying, but I knew what he was saying. I already knew. He probably thought I was making up. Who knows? But what I'm trying to say is it's true. I was in an emergency situation almost every day. I was in the street. I had to go to a shelter, almost. Things that It was bad. How is it you don't feel comfortable in your own apartment? You don't feel comfortable living in your own. I had to literally ride the subways and be outside most of the day, and then knowing I had to go right back in. I'm talking about this was for months, constant, every day, torture, emergency. I'm calling people up. Nobody helped me, folks. And I always wondered to God, why would you allow me to go through that for? To go through something like this? Why would you even allow the stuff if telling you no job, no money, you're just trying to just I literally went to Boston to stay with a friend for a while. I came back because I was being abused over there as well. I come back to more abuse. No matter which way I turn, he was the only person I knew I can go to. I knew no one else. Look at me. You see what I'm saying, you guys? I just want to make a point. I'm just trying to say that, I'm just making a point here to you guys, All of that I've gone through, and there's more. I had to literally this is constantly for months, every single day. I'm calling people like, I'm gonna kill this man. I'm gonna stab my father. The only person that took me seriously, obviously, is the Father in heaven, God. Like desperation. I got to a point where I cried to God like, why is my family like this for? Why are they like this for? Like going crazy. And then I'm asking him to help me. Like, please help me. Please, somehow, some way. When I go back in there, I want to make sure that may your angels go in there. May there be peace around me. Where surround the atmosphere with peace. Because I'm going to snap. I don't want to go to jail. I'm going to kill this man. I'm literally going to kill him. Think about this. My family, nobody took me seriously. True story. Nobody took me seriously. You had people in the street that will probably help you. That's how. I called my aunt. I called my cousin. I called people, folks. I even told my aunt, "Can you speak to my dad, please? Can you talk to him?" Nobody didn't want to get involved. Nobody wanted to. I said, "Can you at least speak to him? Can you at least tell the man to calm down?" And what are you doing? Why are you taking out your frustration on people in the house? Nobody wanted to say anything to him. I mean, because they knew how he was. But I'm desperately pleading as a nephew, as your nephew, telling you to please, can you vouch? Can you please speak on my behalf to this man? Because since you're his sister, or since this is your uncle, speaking about my cousin, no one wanted to get involved. They would just tell me, just be in the house, go in the room. Nobody didn't go in the room. The man was following me everywhere in the house. But anyway, it was bad. And you talk about trauma, right? I already have gray hair, you guys. You actually saw me in person. If you actually saw me in my other videos, I have gray hair. Look at it very closely, very closely. You're gonna see a strand of gray. Gray in the Bible stands for wisdom, and also it stands for stress. When you go through a lot of trauma, even spiritual trauma that I've gone through so far in my life, I mean, it's built me up, it's matured me. But I understand that I know now. I understand certain things, but I'm not appreciative of the things that I've gone through. I'm really not. Because I wouldn't want to, if I went back in time to 2019, I can tell you, 2007, 2008, 2019, horrible years. 2007, 8, 9, and 2019. Horrible years of my lifetime. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. No one should go through this. Nobody. But right now as I'm speaking, someone's going through that right now, unfortunately. Someone's going through the exact, maybe not how it is with me, but they're going through it. They're probably going through worse. Probably worse, who knows? When I say worse, because I'm not putting myself here on a pedestal, but I had it bad. I'm going to say, you tell me you're in an emergency situation every single day. And I say other people have it worse because they're probably getting raped. I don't know. They could be getting raped and nobody wants to reach out to them. You know what I'm saying? They can be being molested. Doesn't matter, boy, girl. And no one's taking the time to understand what they're trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. Because maybe they're being threatened by whoever's doing it to them. That's what I'm trying to say. that don't have friends really. Man, if you have friends, you're more blessed than I am right now. If you're watching this and you have friends, stay with your friend. Go stay with your friend. I had nobody. Literally, I had nobody. I had people that I know now, but I had nobody. I didn't have nobody. I didn't have, honestly. A situation every day. You know, I almost had I used to have heart palpitations because of it. Heart palpitations, I would be in a version, I used to go to the hospital. I had an almost emotional breakdown. You know what stress does to you? You don't think it does something in the moment. Give it years down the road. You're going to start feeling the effects of it. Stress kills. Stress kills. That's what people don't understand. Stress will kill you. Stress will kill you. That's what people don't understand. That it'll literally kill you. It'll take everything away. Everything. Stress will take everything that is... You're losing your mind. You're losing yourself. You lose your sanity firsthand. You lose your sanity. You start to say, you start doing things that you don't want to do, you don't mean to do, but you're doing it, subconsciously speaking. You don't want to do it because out of anger. It's anger that's dominating you. And you know it's bad and wrong. But you're so dominated by your subconscious. You're so in tune with other things. Like the other things for you is your living situation, your environment, your circumstances, what you're going through. That's affecting you. And then that's why you see I don't judge anyone. I show them love and compassion because I know how that is. You can't just off the bat judge someone. Well, why are you doing this and that? You don't know their living condition. You don't know their situation. You don't know if it's a mental affliction, if it's an emotional thing. You don't know if it's a spiritual thing. You don't know if it's the environment, the person you're living with, the family. Demons, we all know. Demons, I'm talking about naturally speaking, physically. You don't know the environment, what people are doing to them. But we actually criticize. It's like going up to a person who has trauma and saying, why do you have trauma? You get it? It's like going up to a person who has trauma saying, why do you have trauma for? What do you mean why they have trauma? What do you expect? Why do you think they have trauma? Why do you think they're sinning? Why do you think they're doing what they're doing? We're all sinners. Some people don't mean to do what they do. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get across here. You gotta look at the full picture here. There's no one justifying sin or condoning sin. Most of these people, these pastors, the ministers, they claim that once you're born again, you don't sin. There's a purification process. You receive the Holy Spirit, then that's an acceptance. That's a declaration. Being born again it could take years. Being born again. That has been a misconception. That's why people are walking around confused. They don't understand the difference between born again and processing sanctification. Born again and sanctification. Born again and sanctification. People don't understand these things, so throw it out the window. We don't understand. That's what happens when you actually listen to man instead of getting a revelation from God himself. And you're listening to what a man is telling you, but you're not listening to what the Spirit is saying to you. You're not listening. Not even listening. You don't hear from God. You don't spend time reading the Bible. If you did, then you'd realize, what? It's true. Yeah, I take the Bible over here because it's a revelation you received from the Lord. You're receiving a revelation. All right? Churches now are carnal, natural. Men speaking. There's no message of Holy Ghost or conviction moving in these places. There's nothing. So back to what I was saying. What I was saying is this. You get to a point now where you start to understand that a lot of stuff, especially a lot of stuff that I went through, especially, I didn't want to go through those things. You know what I'm saying? But after a while, as you get older, as you actually grow, as you get older, what's gonna happen is that God will reveal, God will shed light. He'll enlighten you to certain things. And I thank God to this very day that nothing happened. I didn't kill the man. I didn't go to jail. I didn't kill this man. I was very desperate, and I knew that God was always reaching out. I knew that when nobody, my family, everyone betrayed me, I had nobody. By myself. I had to dig it out. I literally had to sit this one out by myself for months and months. And nobody. The only person was Jesus Christ. There was nobody helping me. Nobody. I had nobody. In the street. I was in the street. I was like, I actually went to a shelter. At one point, I had to go to a shelter. It was bad. And that's why I try and tell people, you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what people are going through until you go through it. You don't know. I tell, like any minister or man of God, have you been to a shelter? Have you suffered for many years, being tormented mentally, emotionally? If you have, then that's great. Well, it's not great, but I'm saying in a sense where, all right, fine, you can relate to people, then, but keep your mouth shut. If you haven't gone through any of those things, there's nothing you can say, possibly. Nothing. You can't relate. That's why some of you guys, you go to these local churches out here, it's dead, right? It's empty, it's dead, there's no life. You're like, I'm not getting nothing out of what this person is saying or talking about, or meaning here. What is this person talking about here? That's why you're not getting anything. Have you gone through the things that I've gone through? This is only one video. I can make maybe 300 videos about the hell I've gone through in my life. Looking at one video, 21 minutes is literally still on 0 minutes. It's still zero. It's on zero. That 300 to 500 videos of a lot of stuff I could talk about based on my life. Not so much about like God or the Bible, could add them in there, but I'm saying I could do a lot of videos just telling you about my life, things I've gone through, all the experiences in the hell. That's why I tell anybody, like I said, if you haven't gone through it, you have nothing to say to me. You haven't been in the street, you have nothing to say to me. I speak to a person that's gone through it, that's actually gone through it. I'll speak to that person. I'll let that person be my mentor, or whatever. Or share information I never even heard before. That person could tell me something I disagree with, because maybe that person is on a different stage than I am. But then I'll know, okay, he's telling me that for a reason, and I want to get the answer. I want to know why he's telling me something that I solely disagree with. It makes no sense. And it makes me feel like, oh, I'm actually more right than he is. This doesn't make sense, what he's saying to me. But it does. So I would never, tell me, if something sounds off, I'm still going to listen, and I'm still going to take that person's word for it, because they're telling me they've been in the street, they're telling me all these things, so it may sound like to me it doesn't make sense. But they're probably on some kind of different level than I am on. That's what I'm trying to say. So of course I'm going to take their word for it, and I'm going to literally take it to God, and then God's going to give me the answer. Sooner or later, he's going to show me something that I'm going to be like, okay, wow, it was so simple this whole time. Now I understand, how I get it. Sometimes it's so simple. It's spiritual, but it's simple, but it's spiritual. That's why it's hard, because it's simple, but it's spiritual. And then it takes a while, and then when you get the answer, you're like, you mean to tell me that was it? That was the answer the whole time? It was staring me in the face the whole time? That was it? See? If you have someone to stay with, I would implore you to please do so. Like, please stay with that person. Like, honestly. You know? It's not worth it. If you have someone to stay with, and you're staying, and you're literally, I mean, I'm quite sure if you was in a situation I was in, man, if I was in a situation, honestly, if the situation I was in, and I knew people, I would have, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? I would have stayed with them for like maybe 5 months, 6 months, I would have stayed with them. And if you have someone to stay with, and you know people, I'm talking about you have a lot of friends, and they tell you I'll speak to my parents for you, and all right, they said yes, you can come over, and you're saying no, that's something. When you get to a point where you even know, like, you know what, I'm gonna sit this one out, but it goes beyond that, yes, of course you gotta leave now. That's what I'm trying to say, and that's what I'm saying, and God will help you. Not just sit this one out, and now it's beyond just sitting it out. You thought it was gonna get better, and it just got way extreme worse. It got worse and worse, and now it's an emergency. Constantly for months, an emergency constantly for months. You better pack your things and leave. There's no one in their right state of mind that's gonna still stay in that predicament. There's no way. There's no way in hell. So pack your stuff and leave. Go stay with whoever you need to stay with. Alright, I know this will be viewed in the future, this video. Stay with someone. Stay with someone, please. What? why would you not leave and then you do something to that person? You're sitting in jail and you're saying to yourself, I had people that I knew I could stay with. Here's a person telling you I had no one and I would have left. I've easily left. 6 months I would have stayed with that person. Easily. So yeah, you guys, it's real, it's real. All I can honestly say is that we need to wake up. We need to seriously we need to wake up. We need to wake up, and really understand. Like, well, I don't know what I'm talking about. You know who needs to wake up? We need to wake up. We're awake. The ministers need to wake up. If you're watching this and you're a minister, whoever you are, pastor, man of God, you need to examine yourself and you need to really say to yourself, do I really know what this person is telling me or talking to me about? Do I really know what this person is talking about? Honestly. There are people broken, man. There are people suffering. People that want to commit suicide.